so this is the Frühlingsgesang. Now, I'll put this up on the screen for you guys to see, but this piece has a corresponding illustration. So if we take a look, I believe it seems to be, a mother with her children. They're enjoying some sort of outing, maybe in the countryside or in some garden, I'm not sure. They're obviously enjoying the spring weather and the spring blossoms, and we can see that a kid has gotten a hold of a flower and he's holding it. So very obviously this piece has a kind of a very gentle, lilting, and overall just joyful demeanor. And I think it also has a rather dance-like quality, which is due to the dotted rhythms as well as some of the syncopations. Now obviously, in the later section, there is also a little bit of a contrasting part that sounds just a little bit different in character. So when you guys play that part, you can choose to make a little bit of a difference there. All right, now on to the sketch. So this sketch is fairly messy. At least it seems to be a bit messier than some of the other sketches. We can see that he's got all sorts of markings in ink, markings with pencil, stuff he's crossing out, stuff he's adding. So I'll play a little bit of the beginning for you guys to hear. Okay, so if you've been listening closely, you probably noticed that in the left hand we have an additional tie. We have the A that's continuing all throughout. So that's right there. And that's an addition he made in pencil. To be honest, I'm not super sure why he chose to do that. Because in my opinion, the stuff he had originally in ink, which is also what ends up getting published eventually, sounds better. Now, why exactly is that? When we don't have the A, I think that the part at the very top gets a kind of a little bit of a contrasting feeling. It's more prominent. Firstly, just by virtue of it not having a left-hand accompaniment at that moment. And when we have the other voices that eventually join in, when we have the left hand that comes in at the end, the sound gets richer and richer, and I think it just brings an element of contrast that wouldn't really be there if we did have to keep the A in the left hand. Besides that, he also penciled in some accidentals, which I'll play the version that doesn't have the accidentals. Now, obviously, I can't guess whether he just chose not to add it initially, or whether he simply forgot about them. But I think it is true that having the accidentals makes it sound a lot better, because the accidentals kind of make it sound, make the thing sound more like a minor key in that area. So when the major key kind of comes back in full swing, when we have the E major chord again, having gone through the minor part and then coming back to the major, it makes the harmony sound a lot more complex and varied. It just overall sounds better. Now if we continue on looking, he also has one part where he scratches out the left hand. I'll just play the original version first. So obviously that's in contrast to this, which we now have today. And originally, with it being lower in the left hand, it's in a lower register, and then also due to that, we have a larger gap between the left hand and the right hand. I think it generates a sound that just isn't as suitable for kind of what he intended for this piece, maybe. So thinking of that, he scratched that out and then moved the left hand up by an octave to make it sound better. Okay, so if we continue moving on, there's also one last bit of stuff. I'll play that. Something similar to that, which is now swapped out for. So, I mean, to be honest, the stuff that he scratched out doesn't sound all that bad. It's just maybe he didn't like where exactly that melody was going to take him, so he decided to remove that and then do something else in instead. Not that I think there's anything wrong with it, it's just, I guess, a choice that he made.